Hi everyone and welcome to today's SAP community call. Thanks for joining. My name is Lena and I'm part of the SAP community and influencers team, and I'll be your technical host for this community call on digital skills for the digital age. With me today is Eva Zauke, who is Senior Vice President, SAP Knowledge and Education, as well as Chief Knowledge Officer at SAP. Eva is globally responsible for all product-related learning offerings that specifically target our SAP customers and partners. And during the next hour, you will get insights on how to develop skills and competencies to make today's digital transformation a success. You will explore how companies equip their users with the right knowledges and the right skills to equip and to implement our SAP products and services to achieve their goals. And just some housekeeping rules. So you see the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. Sometimes it's at the top of the screen. If there's any questions during the next 60 minutes, then please raise them in the Q&A. And Jan, who is on Eva's team, will address them towards the end after Eva has finished with her presentation. So we have time at the end to address all your questions. And with that being said, Eva, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Lena. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you joining here in the call. Thanks for having me today. And actually, the topic is very interesting. We will be talking about, and I hope you like it. And I'm looking forward also to our discussion later. It's about digital skills and the digital age, and our core belief that skilled people make digital transformation a success. So as you know, enterprises are moving towards applying digital technologies. They are moving towards S/4HANA. They are moving towards implementing the digital technologies. And what is the role of people there? Why do people matter? And how to make this digital transformation a success? I will be talking and sharing some insight with you and looking forward to the discussion. So my presentation actually goes along 5 different topics. We will be seeing why learning matters, why it's important to learn. We will be talking about how to learn, what to learn, and who learns. And I will be finishing with a call to action, wrapping up the call. Why does learning matter? Actually, when we look at current trends, the global market, we see that almost 1/3 of all jobs worldwide are likely to be transformed by technology. This is huge, 1/3 of all jobs in the next decade. So more than 1 billion jobs will be transformed. There's a huge impact on the jobs due to technology. On the other side, companies are facing skill gaps. 87% of organizations either face skill gaps already or expect that this will occur within the next 5 years. So this is absolutely burning topic. On the other side, when you transform and companies are transforming to adopt technologies, to innovate, to move forward, the transformation barrier number 1 is the lack of skills to make this digital transformation a success. On the other side, McKinsey says digital transformation is 3 times likelier to be successful when organizations have invested in the right amount of digital talent. So we see here the topic is pretty fundamental in making a digital transformation a success, and it impacts actually mostly everybody. Looking at a couple of companies, and you see here really companies, and you see here professional services companies, and they have found different strategies to match today's skill to the jobs of tomorrow, and they are investing a lot. So there is a lot of investment. And we have specifically seen this now in the pandemics and the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, us as an SAP responsible for learning, we have seen that professional services companies have invested a lot during a little bit of a decline of investment of their customers for the projects. They invested a lot to make the people successful, to prepare for the projects when economy is again picking up, to get certified and all of that. So this is not only an effect of the pandemic right now, but you see here with Amazon, which has a more than a $700 million commitment until 2025 to scale and upskill the training of the employees. Orange is raising the skill challenge and is also investing more than 1.5 billion euro in a skill upskilling program. PwC more than 3 billion in job training over the next 3 to 4 years. Accenture here spends more than 1 billion in training every year on new technologies, on capabilities and competencies to make people successful. So this is a structural effect. Many companies are investing huge amount of money because they recognize they can win in the market with skilled people and they have to invest. This is not only an effect now we have observed and observing during this unprecedented times we are in, but also through the companies investing here structurally into the skills of their employees. What are use cases for learning? So when you learn, and we are talking here a professional environment. So we are talking the developer, we are talking the administrator, we are talking the business user, the architect, or the consultant. Either defining, implementing, developing, or administering SAP products and all software. Actually, there are a couple of reasons, and they're pretty different and pretty interesting. So there is a strong motivation of these groups to grow professionally. So there is a huge motivation to learn, to grow their skills, competencies, to cope with the innovation. Then these roles are exploring latest innovation, be it on standard, on products, on technologies, but also innovation is coming off the business side. Why? Because they are recommending sometimes also to the enterprises they are in products to take an investment decision on. They are exploring technologies because there is innovation happening all along the way. There is one constant that we are constantly innovating. There are constantly new business processes, adjustment to business processes, new technologies, new use cases coming up. So the topic of lifelong learning plays here a little role. And on the other side, everybody of these roles wants to be successful in their job today and tomorrow. And with that, with the knowledge they acquire, be also effectively using or implementing SAP solutions. When we look at the value of training and enablement for the different user groups or people involved along the SAP life cycle, along the cycle of SAP software, we see a pretty significant value realization and impact out of the training and of the learning. Let's start with implementation teams. So here an implementation team is obviously implementing SAP software. When they are well trained, an organization can reduce the deployment time, so the time to make software available, by 10%. When companies are operating the software, running the software, and the administrators are well trained, obviously with the knowledge they have, the organizations can save here a little bit of money, and a little bit is here between 20 or 62%, depending on the application. When the administrators have acquired the right level of knowledge, they are issuing less support tickets. Obviously, they know it, so they can spare the question because they know the answer already. When we look at the user in the value realization, actually the stream of the company where the software is used productively by the end users, when the end users are well trained across SAP, line of business, you see here Ariba SuccessFactors or S4HANA, on average, 50%, around 50%, these users are more effective when working with SAP software. This is also, from our perspective, pretty obvious because they are well trained, so they know very focused what to do, what are the specific functions they should perform, what are the specific activities. They are trained, so they are well prepared, they can be more successful in their job. So there's a pretty comprehensive story we can tell here around the full life cycle of SAP implementations here and usage then at the customer side. How people are learning, and actually we see here COVID-19 being also even a stronger catalyst to move us into the let's say digital learning on the corporate level. So we as SAP were front running this whole space already, and this was before COVID-19 happened. So we were fully in digital, fully in the cloud, operated a full digital model already. The COVID-19 pandemic actually accelerated this, although we were running, for example, on-site training and on-site learning offerings, we had to move them into the virtual. We were lucky and were already well established because we had platforms and the learning means already. But what are characteristics of a corporate learning in the digital age right now, and what is available already today? So it goes that learning is self-led, that you are defining your own pace. You can learn from anywhere, you can learn anytime, and you learn continuously. One of my favorite quotes or texts and when talking about learning is, virtual learning does not mean that you have to learn alone. So you can learn, you can define your learning path, but you don't have to learn it alone. You know, people are social, they want to exchange, they want to talk to a colleague, they want to discuss. And here you see, and very here also to you here joining in the SAP community, they want to learn in a collaborative way. They want to ask questions and somebody in the community answers the question. Somebody knows the answer already or has another perspective on a topic you might be interested. So a strong support via the community is of high importance to be effective in learning, because you want to exchange and you want to discuss with people. On the other side, it's about personalized learning and also recommendations. So I'm here today, I'm interested in these topics. I could also get recommendations on other topics of interest. And I could also get, when I have specified a learning target, a learning objective, a personalized recommendation how to get there. It's also about empowering people, and this is here a very intense cultural shift we see here, that there is not, well, you see professional services companies who are purchasing many thousands of certifications that say, okay, now consultants, please, you do learn in this period of time and you get certified. On the other side, it's very highly driven by the person itself, motivated to go professionally. So here we are talking an empowered learner, an empowered person to lead their own learning of topics of interest, of further development, to explore what could be of interest. And also the monetization models have changed. So there is not a one-time charging for a course, still exists, but it's totally changed towards a mixture of for free offerings, for subscriptions, for time blocks, that you have a certain amount of credits or of learning, which costs a little bit of money. But this is then more consumption-based models. And as said, this has been accelerated through the COVID-19 pandemic. When we look how users and how professionals can learn, actually we are talking two target groups we address with our learning offerings. The one is the SAP professional, the other is the SAP user. The SAP professional, this is the developer, the administrator, the consultant, the project team. So people in a company, customer company or professional services company offering services to their clients who are driving the software and doing this professionally, implementing the software. Well, learning journey, we will see examples, are kind of the guides throughout the learner life cycle. They can learn on their own, self-paced digital learning, OpenSAP or Learning Hub. For me, always important that we are talking learning about software. So this is not only theory, you don't see only slides and whatever videos and different types of formats we're offering, but you also can explore the software and kind of practice. You see how the software looks like, can practice and get practical experience, which is important. As an SAP professional, you might want to explore the software prior to seeing this for the first time at the customer side. On the other side, it's instructor-led, and here we have different formats. On the one hand side, really a hybrid format where we are right now in some locations opened up the classrooms on-site, but it's all in a hybrid model. So in the same classroom as people are sitting there, they have colleagues joining in the same session from remote, and they are in the same event discussing and learning together. We have completely virtual offerings, and we have also combinations of Learning Hub and instructor-led training. We call this blended learning. You can complete and evolve also later your knowledge and expertise via global certification as an SAP professional. And we see also when you have questions, a professional help and assistance on the help portal. A totally different perspective on learning is targeted for the SAP user. So this is the person working with the SAP software. Here we are talking S4HANA, here we are talking IBP, here we are talking Ariba, Fieldglass, or other SAP products. And here the users are learning within the context of their work. We call it in-app learning. So here we have, beyond the contextual help and the guided tours, also the offering to learn within the application. We'll see later how this goes. And we can create learning material, make it available with Enable Now, and also optimize with more insights, more analytical background with user experience management by Noah. So totally different use cases to learn about SAP. When we look at the learning journey, and this is one of the examples I want to share here, you see here a learning journey. Well, it's a journey, as the name says. So it's always structured and certain elements to outline in which ways you're learning and how you can grow your skills. So you always start with an overview, then you become competent. You can here already do a certification, and then it's about once you have achieved a certain level of competence, as we were talking before, it's about ongoing learning. So it's about the latest innovations, be it on technology or the business process side. So the notion of stay current with the latest releases, with the latest innovations is very important here to mention. And also for the ones who want to expand their skills, learn more about the topic, then there is also always an offering paired here, brought into the example, that you can expand your skills. So the structure of a learning journey always looks the same way. You can start with an overview, you become competent, and then supporting lifelong learning and being on top of every innovation to stay current. When we look now at a couple of examples we have for learning, I would like to share OpenSAP. OpenSAP, you possibly know, has more than 1 million unique learners. Every unique learner does on average 4.3 courses, which is huge, which we have then 4.3 million enrollments. And OpenSAP is actually addressing different types of topics and learnings. You can learn about SAP's product innovations, you can learn about technology, but you can also discuss topics and learn about topics which are more on the thought leadership side, on new work and purpose, sustainability, artificial intelligence, and ethics. So there are thought leadership topics as well as topics of product relevance. It's free of charge. It's a pretty lean format where you can register and then either receive a record of participation or a record of achievement. And I would now like to show it to you quickly, that you see here the entry page of OpenSAP. So you can, you can have different languages, and you can select different type of learning situations. So you have courses. This is normally several hours over half a year, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months duration. Let's say course offering we have here for different topics. You could do micro learning. So this is, we have here some micro learnings which are, let's say, a little bit leaner in duration. We have here customer experience, or we have here S4 and also Ariba. And we have podcasts. So this is kind of a low entry barrier, low entry here, where you can, wherever you are, learn about business topics, SAP topics, discuss with the experts, but also see other topics here. So we are supporting here 3 different learning formats across, so courses, micro-learning podcasts across it's either SAP technologies and products, but also bringing in customer examples, sharing thought leadership topics, and inviting also for a discussion. When we look at the Learning Hub, this more addresses the learning for the SAP professional. We talked about learning journeys already. And as I said earlier, people are not only learning on their own, they want to exchange with others. And here you see the element of a learning room where you can ask questions. There is a person moderating, answering questions. You can discuss. You can also watch and really be on top with the latest product sessions which are running in the learning room. We have now seen in the COVID-19 pandemic in the second quarter, the number of product sessions we delivered here on the Learning Hub was as high as in the whole year 2019. So we had a huge interest of people and we were responding to that very clearly by providing even more value. Live access here, for me, very important that you can pair your learning in theory with also practice, and you can end this with the certification to get certified as an SAP professional. Live class, actually, we were on a very scalable level already before a COVID-19 pandemic came in, and here we brought together, we are bringing together participants across different geographies, across different locations on the same topic. So where they were joining from remote, from their environment wherever they are, but this is a real life experience. So they are really in a live setting, they're exchanging with the trainer, they are also doing exercises, learning in practice. There is mostly everything we have in our offering available fully digital. I'm only aware of one exception where you have to start and stop an SAP system, and this in practice, where you have to hit the buttons, and on that we are working that this will also be available in a virtual setting. But this is guided with a trainer, with an instructor, which engages with the class, and the class is here available in a virtual setting. Looking at the certification, actually, we are talking more than 150 certifications on either area we have here. And this is, you can schedule a certification to become an SAP professional 30 minutes ahead of the time you want to get certified. So this is mostly real time, where you can decide today is a good day for getting certified. You can schedule a slot. It's online or on-site, so it could be in a training center, but it is available completely from remote. It's proctored, it's really globally recognized, and it's coming in different facets, because when you're becoming a certified associate here for central finance in S/4HANA as an example, you get a certification you're proud of. You can publish this on LinkedIn, actually on every social media, but around 80% are publishing this on LinkedIn, and Facebook is kind of not the preferred channel here. So this is more uploaded to LinkedIn, the certifications. The notion is here also to stay current, that you do then a lean Delta certification when things are changing to be on top of the latest and greatest innovations. Then we move towards the SAP user. We talked briefly already how the SAP user, the person working with the SAP application professionally, can learn. And there are different facets, actually two. The first is that we have embedded the user assistance, formerly known as documentation, but user assistance called right now, within the application. So when you work with the SAP application, you click on the question mark, you see context sensitive help. So there are texts and they guide you through whatever question you have. You can, within the application, you have embedded learning already, and you have guided tours. Guided tours are small videos which are supporting the end user or the SAP user with some explanations on how to do things, what are special procedures and stuff like that. Now customers raised the request, and this is a very interesting use case for us, and we explored this and have also a solution that customers won't actually do two things. They want to take the SAP, the material provided by SAP, and enhance it to their specific needs. So think of a user at Nestle, and Nestle has specific requirements to their end users. They adjust the guided tools provided by SAP with the support of Enable Now. So the tool helps them to create material and to reflect the company specifics within the learning material for their users in the company. On the other side, companies are saying, we want to create own learning material, which could be for totally different aspects, for soft skills, or how to cope with change, or how to communicate better, or how to present better, or whatever topics comes to mind. Does not mean does not have to be in the SAP context of SAP, but they want to make this available from within the context to the user, so within the application, so they don't leave their working place. They can work with this solution, but also learn while they are at the PC. Working with the application out of that context, they can also learn. And here we have Enable Now to either adjust or create new content specific to customer needs. The product solution is integrated in mostly every SAP product. So within the SAP product, the users can learn. What are the topics to learn? And we are talking here all the topics of the intelligent enterprise. So you see here how the intelligent enterprise is built out. We are talking about this many times already. So we are talking the digital core, the applications, which are really the business logic, which is then extended towards the verticals in the different industries. We are talking a business technology platform where you can develop or extend applications. We are talking business networks, so solutions to exchange and collaborate with your partners in a network, be it procurement, be it logistics. We are talking experience management, where you from within the SAP software might want to reach out to your customers, partners, users, get their sentiments back into the application, what they are thinking or perceiving your product, your solution, and then get this experience data into the operational data. And we are of the firm belief that really successful enterprises have also sustainability, a focus on sustainability, so run in a sustainable way. What is now needed as a skill? Actually, it goes around three categories from our perspective. On the one hand side, business skills. So skills in the domain of the business processes, of the domain model of the company, of the business processes a company has. Be it procurement, be it HR, finance, logistics, transportation, warehousing, but also customer experience. We are talking business model innovation, change management, where you want to evolve the processes further, all with the background of the business skills and the industry domain knowledge. We are talking technology, so the skills which comprise a digitalization. This is cloud, big data, the Internet of Things, machine learning, but also robotics and analytics to get the insights out of that data. And we are talking competencies, which are important, that you have a problem-solving attitude, that you are creative, coming up with ideas, but it's not about the idea, it's also about the effect of the idea. It's about exchanging with others, so communicating and collaborating. All of that in combinations are the skills which are, from our perspective, needed to be successful here in the future. When we look now at a couple of examples of learning rooms, to see here the S/4HANA learning room with the learning journey. There are around 18,000 members here, so this is really huge, where people can then book a course or do a course and learn out of the learning room for a topic. What are people learning in different roles in the context of S/4HANA, on-premise and cloud? Actually, as a developer, you're interested in extensions on top of S/4HANA, you're interested in custom code migration, you're interested in the programming. As an architect, you want to see how this plays a role. What is the role of S/4HANA in the context of the intelligent enterprise, how it integrates with other solutions, be it cloud, be it on-premise, and what are the characteristics of the architecture. As an administrator, well, you have to support the migration from customers coming from ECC, wherever they come from, towards S/4HANA. So you're interested in conversion and the system upgrade. But you're also interested in the central business configuration and how to manage users and user roles. As a consultant, you implement the software. You implement the business processes, the customer side. So you want to be familiar, become familiar with the business processes in the different domains of the expertise: finance, procurement, sales, manufacturing, asset management. As a business user, you actually using the application, so you get an overview about the business processes and you learn within the application. So these are the most important topics the different roles learn here in the example for S/4HANA. When we look now at the Cloud Platform Learning Room, it's here in as part of the Learning Hub, and we see here the learning journey, an example for the Cloud Platform. It's to extend the Cloud Platform, to build extensions on top of the Cloud Platform, to build extensions for the company you're working for. And this is the path to certification. You see here the same structure we discussed before. To start with an overview, to become competent, then do the certification, and then when you are interested and continue to be interested, you can also expand your skills. We are also working now on a Stay Current version here, but the topic is pretty new. Has been launched quite recently. So we are here in the first, let's say, comprehensive learning journey we have with the certification for building extensions on top of SAP Cloud Platform. When we look at another example, we are talking the Internet of Things and IoT Edge. You see here also to start with an overview as an example, become competent, stay current, and expand your skills. It's always the same structure, the content is different, also the learning formats are different. You can experiment with the software, you can experience the software, and you can learn along technology, but also different use cases. So learning is also targeted to different roles, as we discussed before, the developer, the architect, or the consultant, and many others. Who is learning? Actually, I want to share here, we discussed before, different roles in the enterprise. I would now share some customer cases. Take the world's largest automotive company. They are in a huge transition to S/4HANA, and they have built or building and establishing a very comprehensive learning for their people about S/4HANA. So this is about S/4HANA and also about company-specific technologies and procedures. And they have built out an academy where they are saying there is a portion of, let's say, learning together in a virtual setting, but also practicing in projects and then coming back. We take a huge American retailer who is transforming has transformed the learning from binder-based PowerPoint slides printed out now to fully digital, and especially now in the time of COVID-19, prepared learning for all the people in the stores, how to behave and how to cope within the pandemic. So there were topics to learn for the people working in the store with regards to the mask, to physical distancing, and rules of, let's say, engaging with the clients. We're talking a huge multinational conglomerate corporation, which is also undergoing, with regards to training, transformation to a completely digital setting. So replacing PowerPoint and printed formats to really in-app learning. And we are talking here significant numbers. So we are talking here more than 130,000 users. We have a couple of services companies here, Ernst & Young, who are achieving benefits on the one hand side, we stay current, but also here with some efficiency, effectiveness, reduction in training cost, and the increase of amount of training consumed per month, with that a higher, let's say, a training coverage per consultant. What we also have as an offer, which is pretty interesting, and this is specifically interesting for services companies, they can act as a provider of an enablement as a service. So they are offering to their customers, and here you see the example of Capgemini for Team Assetti. Capgemini is creating the learning material, and then for Team Assetti, and then Team Assetti is a learning with the learning material, not created by their own by their own people, but by Capgemini. We have here Sydney Watt and Leckerland realizing a totally different case, learning case. These companies, as many others, have key users, so-called key users. In the case of Leckerland, these are 150 people really having the domain and expert knowledge of the enterprise. And they captured the knowledge, these experts, these key users with Enable Now, and made it available from within the application here S4 to their colleagues, more than 2,000 people in the Leckerland enterprise, to scale their knowledge via the in-app learning. And more than 2,000 people were then learning with the knowledge provided by the key users within the application. Sydney Watt and Leckerland made it a design principle that they, while migrating to S4HANA, at the point of the go live, so when everything is done and ready and they can start, all the users were trained before, so they were productive with the first day, starting with the new software. When we look at a company in APJ, multinational conglomerate corporation, they have a totally different use case. They are on ECC right now, and they have invested a lot in building out SAP functionality, SAP capabilities on their own. Now they're moving to S4HANA, and their use case is, let's learn what is in the standard product, what's contained in the software, to use the standard product to the best extent possible, because they want to avoid costly own developments. They want to spend their money on really things which are not in the standard. They need as a company on top, invest their money wisely, and not and with learning gain the benefits of knowing what is really covered in the offering of SAP and a product offering, and then spending the money to do some developments on top where they need this. So this is their primary use case. They use the migration to S4HANA with this learning in mind to really make this, use the SAP technologies and the business processes to the best extent possible. Wrapping up, actually to open up also for questions and for discussion, what we have seen is the following. People make digital transformation, the transformation to an intelligent enterprise a success. So training provides high value, enablement provides high value to different personas in the enterprise, be it the developer, the architect, the admin, the user. And they, all of these roles learn continuously, they stay on top of the latest technologies, and they take, with the stay current, their knowledge to the future. When we look at the learning portfolio, it's fully digital, fully cloud-based. It's meeting actually every facet of the learner experience. So you can learn on your own, you can learn with the others, you can learn from wherever you are. You can also meet people, either virtual or on-site. You can get certified, and you can have a profession out of that, which is widely used. All of us, and I think everybody experiences this here, that we are talking really continuous enablement. We are talking lifelong learning. So the skills we learned once we studied or we were starting in a company are not the skills which make us successful tomorrow. So we have to explore latest products, latest technologies, and get familiar with the software. So here, actually, Consultants are, well, learning before the project starts, before they're meeting the customer. They want to be prepared and learn and implement software actively and effectively, but also they want to learn and prepare for the next engagements. Stay Current helps here, staying really up to date with the requirements of the software and the requirements for learning. And we see the different formats of learning, learning for the SAP professional, but also learning for the user. And here it comes out of the context of the application, where the users are learning within their environment. And in the best sense of our brand, which is encompassing all of our offerings, it's called SAP Training and Adoption, turning learning into achieving. When you have learned, we have seen this, you are more productive. The end users are more productive, users are more satisfied, they realize more value out of their SAP solutions. And with that, when they realize more value, they can also be more successful in the business, they realize tangible business outcomes. With that, I would close for here or pause for here and open up for questions or discussion, whatever comes to mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva, for this great presentation and insights you gave us. Everyone, we have time now to discuss with Eva and ask questions. Whatever you want to know, now is the time. She's here with us for another 15 minutes, so raise your questions in the Q&A. And also, the team of Eva prepared some questions that they would like to address to you as well. So I will start a poll alongside the next 15 minutes, so feel free to participate in this poll as well. And I hand over to Jan now, who is going to address the questions. Jan, are you there?
I apologize. Yeah. Hello, everyone. 2 mute buttons, the usual challenge. Then let's start. We have a handful of questions here in the Q&A panel, and let me read out the first to you, Eva, which is, what is the best offering best learning offering that we have for students, for university students? Who would like to get professional skills and get certified and get ready for the job market?
Yes, this is a very, very good question and a very important question. And there are actually 2. You can learn for free via OpenSAP. And this comes with the different courses, different topics. You get an overview. You can achieve a record of participation, achievement. So OpenSAP really covering every business topic of SAP technology. You can get started with that. There is also a dedicated edition for the students out of the Learning Hub. And here it's about really preparing for a professional career, for a profession as SAP professional. So you can explore this learning for actually most of SAP Cloud solutions. So this is S4HANA Cloud, this is CX or customer experience, this is Cloud Platform, many other products. And you can explore the systems, the software, and you can get certified. We had a question, and for us this was really important. So you possibly know that the situation in the job market for students with the pandemic was not easy, or is sometimes not easy. So we also accepted students who were students in the last months, now seeking a job, but saying I was a student in last months. So here we accepted them for the student edition because they were in the process of seeking a job. So short answer, OpenSAP and Learning Hub for student edition.
Thank you, Eva. I will move on to another question. It's a tough one. So here's the question. All of these learning offerings that you have explained, that you've taken us through are great, but how can I squeeze in learning about new things when I have a full-time job? Often I cannot set aside 3 or 4 hours of time to actually do the learning. So any advice
Yes.
or guidance there from you?
Yeah, so and this is a tough question, because on the one hand side you want to grow professionally, so you have to dedicate time. This is on the other side, the learning offerings. When you specifically look at the OpenSAP offerings, I have shown this in the demo, and this is really all for free. You can do a course, and this course you can do towards a long duration of time. So you don't have 3 hours this week, you possibly have 1 hour over the next 3 weeks. So you can tailor your learning to the time you have. You can look into the formats of micro-learning and podcast. And there is a lot of you can already achieve with that there is, wherever you are, and we are fully aware that the time people were facing and are facing currently, also pandemic, is a challenging time for most people, because work from home does not mean that you are only working from home. You have to take care of your family, there are other obligations, you have stuff like that. So this is a challenging time. So I'm with you. This is not easy. The formats are that flexible that you can really adjust them to your possibility, the possibility, time possibility you have, be it micro-learning, podcast, or the course. And the courses, when you take a course, 6 hours course to get an overview about S4HANA. This is the Get Overview S4HANA course, the latest one. 6 hours within 4 weeks. And you can then, say, if I'm not ready, then I will continue at a later point in time. Hopefully this will help you out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Eva. And if I may add my 5 cents, I totally agree. And I think any continuous learning should be an integral part of any full-time job. I think we all need to somehow find ways to integrate continuous learning into our full-time job. It is an integral part. It's not either or. And I think this is where we are trying to do a lot of work to offer more and more flexible and modular ways of learning, so that you have a chance, whether you have 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 5 hours, that there are opportunities to learn and enhance your SAP knowledge and skills. Okay, one more question going in the direction of what are we doing to support the recent increase in demand for reliable distance learning and virtual learning?
Actually, we were really lucky when the pandemic came in, and you experienced this in your, let's say, private life also, when locations got closed one after the other. Our task was to switch everybody who was, let's say, on site to a virtual offering. So we were running a fully digital model already. We had the scalable, we could afford without any performance loss additional learners. So this was not a challenge for us to accommodate the needs of increased learning. So we had the infrastructure before, we had the trainers before educated this. So this was kind of attracting and the learners for possibly in a classroom, booked a classroom training to digital offerings only. Actually, I would like to add here, because we spent a couple of really thoughts and had also a plan how to cope with the pandemic. And we have seen many companies and many learners saying, okay, now is the time also to put focus on learning. So many companies have purchased then certifications and said, okay, April, May, we have here a target for our consultants to build up systematically skills on S4HANA and get certified. So where there are massive investments here from companies, and we also supported this with vouchers and more experience. On the other side, we wanted to add value to our existing learners already, where we increased, and I had the example of the amount of product sessions we offered from within the learning rooms. So we were offering more, let's say, more value, more content, more topics, even more topics to the learners. So for us, actually, this problem we did not have. That there was no infrastructure, or it was not performing, or we had a little bit the challenge of rebooking and then what was there, and Now with the reopening, this is then also an opportunity we took on when we reopened the classroom in Waldorf here in Germany, but we have a strategy to reopen as in guidance with regulations and possibilities to open up other locations. We are running a fully hybrid always. So there is this is our new normal. We are not in the believe that there will be classroom only training in the future or only digital. There will be digital and hybrid. So within the same session, people are attending in the classroom and they are attending from remote. So we will see two facets, either hybrid or fully digital in the future. And yeah, there we had to also support our people who are trainers, that they can interact with, facing the participants physically in front of them with distance and everything, and also engaging the ones who are joining from remote.
Good. Thank you, Eva. And I think we have time for one more, right? Lena is nodding her head. That's very good.
Yes.
So now you have to choose color, Eva. What are the top 3 resources available at SAP to help me become proficient in SAP?
Top 3, actually, it depends when you are proficient. So you possibly have a question about alongside becoming or getting an SAP professional. So you are actually the answer is here on that slide. I've shown before. So you're not a user. That you would learn from within the application. You are want to become a professional. So actually it's a learning journey with the elements we have seen. To get an overview, to become competent, get certified. You can do this via the help portal, that we have the learning journeys also. You can do this via OpenSAP courses, or you can go into the Learning Hub. My preference is the Learning Hub, because you're here for the question you have to become an SAP professional and with a certification as a professional. So for professional learning, my recommendation would be you go please to the Learning Hub, and there you have the structure of the learning journey. You have the system access. You can learn on your own, at your own pace, about SAP technologies, business processes, everything. So this is a yearly subscription model, and you can then stay current with the skills. So as a professional, I would go there. For a first overview, for looking at the topics, I would start with OpenSAP. And if you also want to, explore a little bit different topics, topics of thought leadership or other topics, but also overviews of SAP, you go to OpenSAP.
Thank you very much, Eva. I think we have covered the questions in the Q&A panel. I don't know, Lena, if you've got any more or if there are any more questions coming in, but I think we have answered the ones that came to us via the Q&A panel.
All right, that's fine. I mean, we have 5 more minutes left, but that's all good. Almost all of you in the chat now have also taken part of the poll. Thanks a lot for your participation. And I just want to thank Eva and your team that you were part of our SAP community call today. It was very, very interesting. Thanks for all the insights, and hope to have you back again. I'll end the poll now. Thank you all. All right. Everyone take care, and I hope stay safe, and maybe see you soon again in one of our SAP community calls. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Lena, for having me today. All the best to all of you. Thanks for your interest. If there are any comments or questions, you can reach out to me, to the team here. So have a good day wherever you are, and stay safe. Goodbye.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.